All right, Sparkz, it's your book club, so take it away.
Yeah, we're doing Mooncakes. Not gonna work.
Nope, not
gonna work with a virtual background. That's a bummer. We might have to
Who's a buy?
turn that off. Wendy Xu and Suzanne Walker.
Beautiful.
And it's a nice little just graphic novel. It's of that I don't really know what the genre term is for like this kind of. It's like teen poppy kind of.
It's like young. It feels like young adult
romance.
Yeah.
But like there's a kind of style to this, but that like you know it when you look at it, but like I don't have a name for it. And I knew it would be like that going in. I really enjoy it. I think speaking of like representation of things, like we're moving from Do Revenge to this. Two things I think it does really well is like having a character who has hearing aids and it is present in the story, but not like it's not a plot point.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the same of Tam's pronouns, they, them,
yeah,
and their presence. And like it feels like the amount of like in-world existence and fleshing out of the character without feeling like it was driven by like some point in the plot was going to revolve around this detail.
Yeah.
I feel like on some level this is the amount of like good hearing aid kind of representation you want to see. They
actually incorporate that in the spells to make it even cooler, to do cool stuff with sound.
I think those parts are used well. And again, like none of them are like the spells that decide the fate. You know, like it does come up, but it's not the thing that changed how it all turned out, kind of thing.
It's what you can do with your ability,
right? Which just feels very like naturally ingrained. I think one of my favorite touches is like the part where they're able to speak internally into each other's minds, and in that space, she doesn't need the hearing aids, and that's something that they address. I think it's got really nice art, really nice colors. I specifically like the design of our woodland creatures, whether they're the friendly ones or our big demon
archdemon. Yeah, I took a picture of the you're not gonna be able to
creature.
See, how's that gonna work? Is that gonna work? You son of a bitch.
Maybe we could turn off virtual background, but yeah,
it's okay. Yeah, man. Tam and Nova, the romance of the story. I had a really good time. It reminded me of like a Pixar movie, after seeing like Turning Red, I'm like, this is a story about a girl falling in love with her family and dealing with like family stuff, and I'm like, it's so charming, it's so like bubbly and light, but like. And I was worried that it was going to take like a really dark turn, because sometimes stories like this, they feel like they need to, and it doesn't. It never does. It stays wholesome and fun and lovely almost the entire time. And I love the ending. I like the way everything's resolved. There is a little bit of like villain stuff going on, but like it's like the least important part of the story in my opinion. Like I think all the familiar relationships are great. I love the characters. And if this were like a Pixar movie turned into a graphic novel form, I'd believe that 100%.
I think one of the things they do really well is like the informing on Tam's background through slowly unfolding like the stepdad thing.
Yeah, who ends up being
that like it's shitty because specifically of why he was with her mom and like for the werewolf stuff, and like clearly like there's a conservative slant to him because he does not like Tam being with Nova, and like this very like disapproving of their entire vibe. He's very like plain basic white man concept of how people should be, and that's very striking against like the diverse cast that you have outside of him, and I think that the way they unroll that in terms of what he was doing and how that affected Tam, and Tam being able to go home again at the end, and like what she was running from, what they were running from, I think all of that feels like it comes together very well.
It full circles well.
Yeah, without feeling like something that was shoehorned in at the end. I feel like you got just the right amount of bits that led to it. So I really like that. The mooncake dinner scene, the part that specifically features mooncakes, where we learn that Nova's parents are dead and they can come back for meals.
Love it.
the kind of subtle idea that when they're at the table, they actually take corporeal form again. I thought that was a nice additional like informing on Nova without like, again, not overbearing the plot with the idea of that informing on who she is. It's present. It is a part of who she is, but it's not her defining trait is dead parents. It's not that. And I really like that.
Oh, I was trying to find it, but there's a great thing where like there's a lot of great like puns, either they're dad puns or wolf puns. But there's a great pun where the ghost dad, kind of like he overhears Tam like making like a pun. He's like, he says you have the line.
I don't think I have. I don't think I have.
But it's like he makes like a ghost pun, a ghost dad pun, and she's like, you're cool, you all right.
Before that, I do have the one with Tam and Nova where Nova is talking about seeing her parents again, and Tam's like, "Woof, I'll bet that's tough." And then Nova's like, "Did you just woof?" And Tam's like, "Well, I mean, family stuff can be rough."
Brandon, I want you to speak real quick before I bring some stuff up.
Just call me Ben tonight because I don't have a lot to say about this comic. I'm not as hot on it as you guys are. That's not to say I didn't like it. I didn't dislike it. I liked it. I just don't really have a lot. There wasn't a lot that I gleaned from it to pick out to kind of enjoy a larger discussion about it.
No worries. Let's see. I love that the grandmas are always. Oh, this wasn't grandmas, but everyone's always making jokes about how they're like always making out or something. And it's like, maybe the nanas are right. Maybe we need to experiment. Yeah, I think you guys should definitely experiment. Oh my God. There's a couple of those. Let me find the other one. I have it right here. Hold on. Oh yeah. If you two can keep from mooing over each other long enough to work, Nana, please. I love it. I love like the anime inspired look.
I like the presence of the grandmas. I think that's all done very well. We have to talk about Cousin Terry, who accidentally turned his head into the head of a pigeon.
Oh my God, but he can still talk, but he doesn't.
But he can still talk.
But we don't know that.
They don't know that until long after the dinner.
God.
I picture like when he finally walks in and he says, "Hey, lovebirds." I always picture it like, "Hey, lovebirds," and they're like, "Oh my God." He's like, "My family's leaving. If you want to say goodbye," because I like picturing that kind of voice coming out of a pigeon.
The brother from Everybody Loves Raymond. That guy.
Yeah, Brad Garrett.
Yeah, that's what I imagine.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
So like, there's a plot of there's an archdemon in the forest that it's Tam, right? Tam brought it. Yeah. And then like the family gets involved and they gotta banish an archdemon, but it's pretty hard and they need wolf magic, but they don't know anything about wolf magic, so they gotta discover it and learn it and make out a bunch. They eventually she gets possessed. And it ends up being okay. It ends up being just okay. And I love that. I love that, again, nobody had to die. Yeah. Nobody has to get murdered.
I do like that Tam gets in there and like it's specifically because the implication it feels like is because they did the sharing mind magic stuff before that allows Tam to connect to the wolf spirit and embrace and move forward and help release it and free it because of that kind of connection and love that she had with Nova earlier. I think their story works very well. I like a lot of the coloring, especially when we are in the zone of their minds and speaking to each other. I think that's really good.
She knocks over the villain of the story, and she's like, "That's right, run back to your little wolf friend." She's like, "I will, and I'm going to make out with them all the time."
That felt, yeah,
love that.
It's pretty goofy. This is like it's really hard to see because of everything, but like it's some of the most interesting paneling.
Not gonna
work. But it's the one where like you get like Tam's recounting of the story of the ritual and stuff, and they like show the ritual reflected in Tam's eyes. Some of the best paneling art I think they have in the whole story.
Tam takes out her hearing aids when she's flying. Nova takes out her earrings, and then he's like, "Wait, you fly without them?" "Yeah, I can't hear anything with the wind." And then her friend starts crying. Great, cool. No.
I do like the presence of Tatiana. I do think that's fun.
Yeah.
I will say I do have like one major negative, and it's just like Tam going out to be like, "I'll get rid of the demon by myself," is like, I wish there had been like any other thing to like lure her out there or something other than her like
trying to do it myself,
having to be like overconfident and all that. And like they made it very clear that like your best chances are in the morning for this particular kind of spell. You need to be rested. Like there's just no good foundation for why Tam wouldn't trust them on that.
Yeah.
And why they had to be like, I just gotta go for it right now. I don't,
especially think because like they brought it here and couldn't deal with
and
it.
And to have Nova's support and the Nana's support. And it's like, that just didn't work for me. I was like, this feels very like cheap we need to get this Tam kidnapped. Here's the easiest, quickest way. And I'm like, it just didn't work with who Tam's character was written to be up to that point to me. I feel like we could have done something that had Mrs. C like lure her out or trick her or something.
A cat
rather
gets
than her
out
just being
or
like,
something.
I'm gonna deal with this myself. And I'm like, oh, Tam, you big dummy. Like you can't. And you should know. Like,
yeah.
That's the only part that like really just didn't work for me. I was like, that felt too stupid.
You guys haven't mentioned that there's pretty much a cat in every frame, and you find out there's actually just 3 cats around that area.
Love the cats.
Big fan of cats.
I love when the cats get together and get Nova. You get like just a page or two of just cats rallying.
Big fan of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, this was a fun, brisky, light fun read. Like again, I reading this, I was like, man, I see this being a Pixar movie. Like, oh, I love the world building of just magic exists, but only for the people who know it. So every time a new person comes into her life, like, wait, does she know? No, she knows that she's a wolf. She's fine. It's cool. It's okay. Oh, she's a wolf now. We're cool. Like everyone who gets introduced is like, is she on the okay list?
Right,
She's a wolf lady. Don't worry about it.
I think that's done pretty well. I won't say that like this is necessarily only for young readers because it's not, but like I do feel like it's written in a way where like young readers can access it, and I do think that that's like really valuable for a lot of reasons. It is utilizing the Halloween season and things of Halloween nature because it's got werewolves and witches and everything, but you do see jack-o'-lanterns and stuff around.
And like it's very, especially like modern young like queer kids, like
yes,
like
exactly.
they look
or deaf kids, and there's a lot of like this is a graphic novel that when like if I have a daughter and she's like 7, I would be like, yeah, absolutely, please go check this out. It's written on a level where you can engage with it, and I think that like it is good present clear representation.
It is written on like a like for kids, but like I don't think it's written poorly at all. No. Like I think reading it as an adult, like I still get I get a lot out of it. Like like I thought, good time.
All right, anything else you guys want to bring up?
No, that was my segue into the spooky season, so you're welcome, everybody.
Hell yeah.
All right, so next
Ben
week...
thought it was fantastic. 10 out of 10, best book he ever read.